No.
I have a lot
Okay.
to say. I have a lot to say, but it should be outside camera.
Something strange is happening in Nigeria, and Nigerians are still leaving the country in large numbers. But yet, a lot of people are asking whether they should come back. And that's
Yeah.
the topic that we want to talk about today. Japa versus Japada. Should you move back to Nigeria? And the first thing I even want to ask is this even a real thing? Are people actually leaving this country and then coming back? Is that a
Bro, in the
thing?
last year, the number of people that I've heard say that they want to move back to Nigeria have been astronomical. And I know about I can count 5 people right now that have moved back to Nigeria in this 2025 that we're in right now.
Waiting to chase them.
It's
But wait, Ebadi
yeah.
and OJ, who found this word Japada? Because I've never heard it before.
I don't know. I
I,
have no idea.
and nine times now.
Internet found
I
Japada.
think I think I think
I've never heard that before.
I think it's a
Honestly.
Yoruba word. Like I'm not sure what it means. I'm not sure what it means, but I know what it has been interpreted as. But I'm not sure what it means literally.
But, but wait, hold on, guys. Are people spend 20, 30, 40, 50, 80 million naira leaving the country? And if you leave, and then waiting they chase them, like why did they come back? Do you have any idea? Or is this just online noise?
It's not. I think for the people that I know, right, it's been a mix of they have better opportunities in Nigeria compared to here. And better may not necessarily mean like better pay. It might mean like a better way of life, a better balance between earning money and living a happier life. Right. They had better opportunities in Nigeria. One person that I know specifically, their dad is in politics in Nigeria. And
Oh,
she went back to go and chop politics money.
oh,
You get,
makes
you
sense
get.
now.
But one person that I know, or there's an average Joe like you and I, actually went back because the stress in this Canada was doing them too much. And it's not as if, well, probably slightly above average, but they had better opportunities lined up for them back home in Nigeria with their family business and all of that stuff. So they just
They'll
didn't
move back.
think it was worthwhile still working for the man in the abroad.
You see, how far? Do you know anybody who has left? Who left the UK to come back to this country? We actually get work for UK. Well, anybody who has left, whether work or no work.
To be fair, I know two guys, but they're not that old. They're like within our age range that went back to Nigeria, but they came back to the UK. So the Japa dad, like Paddy said, and Japa again.
Japa.
Honestly, Japa and then Japa again. Because
Mhm.
one of them was someone very close to me. I don't want to make to for any identities to be known, but very close to me. He was born in the UK. He used to go to Nigeria for holidays, and he liked because the parents had a very nice place in Nigeria. He liked the environment, the way everything is done for him. There's a cook, there's a gate
Yeah.
man, there is what's it called, a helper in the house. So he likes that. And whenever he goes to Nigeria, he keeps saying he feels at home. So when I moved to the UK, he keeps telling me, why he doesn't understand why Nigerians keep moving here. That whenever I go to Nigeria, he feels, in fact, the guy was taking holidays. He was going to Nigeria like 4 times a year before he decided to move back to Nigeria. So he moved back to Nigeria with the mindset that when you go back, you're going to open an agricultural farm. His dad has a land. You're going to open an agricultural farm,
Never
and
see
then
anything.
so that was the mindset he had. I told my homeboy, I grew up in that country. The country, people succeed. In Nigeria, I think if you have a system and you have the right contact and you have the charismatic personality as well, you might succeed. But let's be very honest. The people that succeed in Nigeria Business Index are very, very little. There's a high level of connection.
I beg to disagree, OJ. I'm sorry, Ufo.
I
I,
mean,
I I
I,
feel like
I have reasons to back up this.
I feel
But
like
anyway,
people, if you don't succeed in Nigeria as a business person, say you have a capital, if you take the capital to Nigeria and not succeed, it is 95% a you problem, not a Nigeria problem. because
So
Nigeria
Nigeria is
Nigeria
There's a
is
lot
very
of
fertile for investment. Of course, you need that capital for sure.
all right, Mr. Paddy, the thing
Mm-hmm.
is, you you're seeing it in a different perspective. Let me be honest with you. If Nigeria happens to you, it has happened to you. There are so many like him. There are so many factors that limited his business growth. That is not even about personal development or effort. These are like secondary factors that he can't even control. People are scared of
Yeah.
going to the farm. He's have someone to go to the farm. There's a lot of I don't want to go into details because I don't want this person to be identified. But the truth is, there are so many secondary factors beyond his control, which I think if Nigeria was a very functional country, they would have
Yeah.
protected people like him and his business might have grown. But these factors were not just based on
Bro.
him doing the
but,
necessary
but
things.
I'm not going to be with you when you say Nigeria is not functional. Nigeria is functional. Yeah, there are some dysfunctional components, yes, but in the grand scheme of things, it is
I
I
functional.
think
think
Oji.
I
I
think
think they live for Nigeria. Only me now they live for Nigeria. So
maybe
That's
people
true.
are
I mean,
see,
there's a lot happening right now in Nigeria that are not so good. Like I won't take that away, right? But I still don't want to take away the fact that Nigeria is a place to do business. If you have good business acumen and you know what you're doing.
I think some certain businesses because my other friend that went back, in fact, is in the UK right now. He, I still don't want to mention his name, but he opened a software app, and I genuinely know the passion this guy have for this business.
Mm-hmm.
And the app he opened is like is an app. I don't want to mention the name of the app, but it's an app that helps projects to work seamlessly. Like it is an app that I feel like if Nigeria was a serious country, they would have really embraced. It's an app that tracks how funds are being used effectively in a transparent manner
oh,
in all sorts of businesses. But to be
and he
fair,
failed.
I was
And he
I was
failed.
telling
Did
this
he
guy
fail?
because
Did he
because
fail?
he
Did
was
the app fail? Did the app
so
fail?
I don't want to use the word failure because I don't believe things fail. But the truth is, he came back in because the system, the app is not built for Nigerian system. Nigeria is like I don't want to say Nigeria is a highly corrupt country. There's corruption everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
that's it. And that's the gap right there.
You,
the system is built for that. What he's trying to solve is a problem that I don't think Nigeria is ready to solve the problem yet.
you the
Get the
thing
point?
is that the thing is that um Nigeria does have its problems and wahalas. And again, I like to say this, our realities are very different. But if we want to bring this back to what we are trying to discuss, so that we don't digress into whether businesses work in Nigeria, we will have a completely different episode for whether businesses are working in Nigeria. The question is whether people should actually move back. And the World Bank says that over 2 million people have japared from Nigeria and more are still living. And
Mhm.
then the people who are outside are saying that they want to come back. And initially, I thought that was just online noise, but you guys have confirmed that you know multiple people who have actually left and came back. So
No,
the
but okay,
question is,
okay.
the question now is, why are people coming back? What is the way forward? Like when they come back, what do they come to do? Is it you've pointed out that people get tired and stop, set up businesses? Maybe let's like the person who left. What did the
Yeah.
person come back to Nigeria to do? What did he come find?
So I think let me take a step back, right? And again, this is my own perspective. This may not be everyone's reality. It's just my own reality. When people leave Nigeria, right, they are living for a better life. They want to they want to live a happier and more fulfilled life. They come into a place like Canada, which is my story. Work hard, earn a living. But in Canada, it's very hard to go from the middle class to the upper class. Like the system has been designed to keep you in that middle class, no matter how hard you work. Of course, there are some people that would get to the higher class, but at some point, you get tired of living a normal, simple life in Canada, and you want to go back to Nigeria, where the ability to get from middle to upper is
Yes.
is better if you have the capital to do that, right?
Okay.
So for me, I know for me, my ultimate goal is coming to Canada was to come to Canada, work, earn a living, have my family here, bring up my children in the country that is
A
as
shame
functional
society.
as functional as Canada. Let me mention the post comment. And then ultimately, at some point, move back to Nigeria.
And
Because
join
one, that's my
politics.
home, and two, that is where I feel like I'll be able to grow my
Break
wealth
the ceiling.
exponentially. In the past year, I've started to work towards that, making investments in Nigeria, right? And I'll continue to do that until those investments have become big enough that I'm like, okay, it's time to officially move back. It is important to note too that before I will move back, the Mali has to be in my pocket already. I need to have my Canadian citizenship, which I do already, but I'm not eager to move back yet until the investments I have in Nigeria are beginning to pay out.
So,
You, s- you
Mr.
see,
O, I have a lot to
eh,
say in this. You see, the truth is this.
say small, please don't say a lot.
Okay, just give me 2 minutes. The truth is this, OJ. These conversations we're having now, I've spoken with my homeboys about this a lot. And the truth is, we need to tell ourselves
Mm-hmm.
the actual truth. Sorry, I'm repeating this truth, a lot, because the reasons why most of us go back to Nigeria is we are here, we have gotten the passports, we think we have access to the world, we can always come down
Come back.
here, we
Exactly.
can we can build, we can actually have properties here, and we can build business here. We have access. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
when we get to the level where we have gotten the passport, then what we start thinking is, which place is it best for me to grow since I have access to the West? Do you get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And most people go back to Nigeria because they feel like, yes, they've got the access, they've got the passport, but truly, this is where the truth comes in. If they never had the passport, they will not want to go back.
Of course,
Most of them,
nobody wants to do. Nobody
Who
will do
wants
that.
to
Though.
lock himself up?
but no, then that solves the question. That solves the answer to the question. If none of them wants to go back without having the passport, you know, then the question of the reasons why people are going back to Nigeria is because they have whichever passport they are looking for, and they think Nigeria is a place where they can build and also have access to a business in the West that can actually pay them in a higher currency. Because when you go back home, if you have a property here, let's say you have a property here, properties here in the West, and you go back home,
Mm-hmm.
two properties that you are a landlord, that your tenants pay you, is a lot of money back home. Monthly is a lot of money. And you live a
Yeah.
better life back home. But if you live here with that same amount of money you earn, you're not even close to average.
Exactly, and you're just saying the point why you're literally just saying the point why people should move back.
No, so the point I'm saying, why I know people, no, this podcast should not deceive Nigerians, young people. And I would say this: every young person that decides to move to Japa should Japa from Nigeria.
But
Me,
that
I'm
has
a,
never been in contention.
no, it has
People
been. There
are
are so many
actively
people.
trying to leave. Wait,
No,
hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. OJ, there's so many people out there. I've watched so many people discouraging Nigerians traveling abroad.
Are
I've
you
watched so
serious?
many.
No,
Yeah,
that is not true. See, there are
OJ.
people will tell you that yes, it is not always rosy in that place. But then
Ah,
they also cut in the caveat that it is always better than Nigeria. At least most of the time, 95% of the time, it is always better than Nigeria. Because the people who are asking these questions, whether they should leave or not, are usually people are not in the position to who are not in very good positions here. Because the people who are in good positions here already have the ability to leave. They have left, they came back, they move in and out of the country. But that is besides the point anyway. People
Yeah,
leave and people come back after they have set up their lives. I think that is very straightforward according to the both of you. But then,
I think you should go back when you're approaching maybe 50 or 40.
retire.
Yeah,
but
because honestly, as a young person,
I,
see,
I,
I
I,
keep
I
I,
wouldn't put
I
I
keep
wouldn't put the
saying
age to it. But go ahead.
I'll keep saying this, Paddy.
but
Honestly,
but
there's a
but
whole lot I think I have developed within myself, within my intellect, moving abroad. And I feel
see,
like if I was still in Nigeria, I wouldn't have developed those charismatic personalities, the skill set, the brain.
you can
Like,
still
And
develop
and
them in Nigeria. What are you saying? People develop
nah,
all these
nah,
no,
things
no,
in
no, no, no.
Nigeria.
Like I wouldn't take away from what Ufo is saying, right? Global exposure does a
Yes,
lot for your growth and
yes,
your mind
true,
as a whole.
true.
There's no contention there. So we've established for the fact that living in Nigeria would always be positive. If for anything, you're getting that, global exposure. Is the point we're talking about is about coming back to Nigeria. I think
Yes,
we all agree that it's okay. We
that's
should not try to come back to Nigeria. OJ.
but yeah, so yeah, we all agree that coming back to Nigeria, you have to get to a certain level. But then again, what is that one thing that Nigeria does better than maybe UK or Canada? Nigeria can't be all that bad now. Like people cannot just live and live forever. Isn't there one thing that could draw you back that Nigeria is doing better than these countries you guys find yourself in?
Yes, and I want to
I have
jump
a
in
lot
there
to
because
say.
this one I'm very passionate about. Sorry, go ahead, Fu.
No.
I have a lot to
Okay.
say. I have a lot to say, but it should be outside camera.
I find the talk.
We'll go on to that. I think for me the biggest one is we talk a lot about standard of living, right? But
Yeah.
there is one key aspect of living standard that people don't seem to give much value, and is the how would I frame it now? Is the way of life. In Canada, from my perspective, there's a lot of individuality. There's a lot of people living in isolation. It takes a village to raise a child. In Canada, the village is
Raise your
small.
pikin. Now you dey raise your
You get. But back in Nigeria, you have that community. And at some point, when we work, and earn so much money, the money stops to have, added value in our life and our living standards. We now start to like miss that communal nature that we experienced growing up back in Nigeria. So that's one thing that I would say Nigeria is better in terms of why I would go back to Nigeria and live Canada.
So that's actually true. Nigeria does have a lot of communal life. And I think we also have a lot freer time than you guys do. Well, or maybe I'm just speaking from personal experience. I'm better able to manage my time a lot more than the both of you because I know we've always been together and I understand that you guys have your times packed. But you see, you have a beef with Nigeria, like the beef Nigeria big time. Which I understand though. Nigeria has not done you any favor. But come
No,
on
it
now.
has. It has done me. Of course. I stayed in Nigeria. I was
What
born
are you
in
saying
Nigeria.
Nigeria
So
never do you any good thing?
see, OJ, you know that for me to live in Nigeria, I made my money in Nigeria before leaving. However,
Yeah.
the truth is Nigeria has not done me wrong. I'm not gonna say Nigeria has done me wrong, but I'm very factual. I think Nigeria could do better. I think the country has the capacity of doing better. But I will not stand on this podcast and pretend that everything is well when we know that it's not well. I will call a spade a spade. And I will advise young Nigerians to leave.
No be
Unless the country,
advice you come give. No be advice you dey give for this
no, they have
podcast.
to leave and they have to go and leave. Unless the country, because I'm not seeing it in the perspective of the rich class Nigeria. I'm seeing that in the perspective of normal average Nigerians that the government that they have no connections for anything, that you have to build yourself from the scratch. The country doesn't give you anywhere to base yourself. Anyways,
Okay. Anyway,
coming
Put
to
it,
what Nigeria,
put it
see,
vex.
coming to what Nigeria
see, you see,
does
you
better
see,
than the Western world.
you see, calm down. Calm down. No verse too much. Anyway, see, at the end of the day, we know that Nigeria has a lot to improve on, and it is always better if we are being fair. It's always better that you leave than you stay. But then there's still a lot of people who are killing it here in the country, and there's still a lot of niche to cover in this country. There's still a lot of businesses and services that nobody is delivering in Nigeria that people need to tap into. And if you live abroad and want to come back, it's not completely a useless or stupid idea to come back to the country, even though that you have to make sure that you have a place to go back to, assuming that plan doesn't work the way that you thought. So, because we're out of time, I just want us to understand that Nigeria is a good country. It still has a lot of things going for it.
Facts.
It
But
does
OJ,
have a lot of things
I
going
have
for
to
it.
answer the question. I'm sorry I'm cutting you off. Because
But
if we end this podcast on this note, people will say I'm anti-Nigeria. I am not. Let me say
we,
one good thing.
you
One
know
thing
what
I
you
want to
they
say.
talk since.
No,
See,
one thing I want to say that is good that Nigeria is better than the country I am in is I think Nigeria, when it comes to flexing, when it comes to vibes,
Bro.
when it comes to fake dopamine, fake dopamine is thinking that you've arrived but you've not arrived.
Well, that's what I was going to. I'll wait,
I,
continue.
I think I think Nigeria is better. it doesn't give young people the reality that they have to face. If you're making $2,000 in Nigeria, you think you've arrived. What the hell? You've not, bro. You haven't. Let's be honest. In the
Okay,
global economic, you've not arrived. So
but
yeah, that's the only
but
thing. So Nigeria is a place to go and flex and live.
yeah. Anyway, at the end of the day, maybe the real question is not even Japa or Japada. That is the reverse Japa. Maybe it's all about knowing when to leave,
When to do.
being able to leave. Then when you leave, remembering why you left, and then at the end of the day, what are you coming back to do, and what are you coming back with?
Okay, this is
I
too much
think
English.
I think that is just the
Somebody
key.
it should be Japa, Japa
Thank
that, and
you
Japa again. They
very
shouldn't
much.
Ajaba again.
Japa that and Japa until you retire. That is
Because
it. People are
the
taking
country
black
is
and
not that terrible, but that's okay. So if you liked this episode, please like and subscribe, hit the
21.
notification button, and we will let you know the moment to release the next episode.